you afraid of clowns? You might want to think twice before watching this video. There was a small town where a traveling circus came to perform every year. The circus was known for its colorful clowns who entertained children and adults alike with their silly antics and funny tricks. However, one year, something strange happened. Children started disappearing from the town, and rumors began to spread that the clowns from the circus were responsible. At first, people didn't believe the rumors, thinking they were just urban legends. But as more and more children vanished, the town became increasingly frightened. One night, a group of parents decided to investigate the circus and find out what was really going on. They snuck into the tent and found the clowns gathered around a strange, glowing orb. As the parents watched in horror, the clowns began to transform into grotesque, demonic creatures with razor-sharp teeth and glowing eyes. The parents tried to flee, but the creatures chased them down, one by one. In the end, only a few parents escaped and went to the police to tell their story. But no one believed them, and the circus packed up and left town the next day, taking all evidence of their crimes with them. To this day, the townspeople still talk about the evil clowns who came to their town and stole their children. And some say that on quiet nights, you can still hear their laughter echoing through the streets. There was a small town that held an annual circus festival. People from all around came to see the clowns, acrobats, and animals perform. However, there was one clown that stood out from the rest. His name was Smiley, and he always wore a big grin on his face. Children loved Smiley and his silly antics. But as the years went by, some parents started to notice that their children were acting strange after watching Smiley perform. They became more withdrawn and stopped speaking altogether. One night, a group of parents decided to investigate Smiley's trailer. What they found inside was shocking. The walls were covered in strange symbols and drawings, and the smell of decay was overwhelming. In the center of the room, there was a large wooden box with a padlock on it. The parents managed to break open the padlock and open the box. What they found inside made them scream in horror. It was the remains of several children, their bodies mutilated beyond recognition. The police were called, and Smiley was arrested. During his trial, he showed no remorse and continued to smile. He was eventually found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. Years later, a new family moved into the town. They had a young daughter who loved clowns. She begged her parents to take her to the circus festival, and against their better judgment, they agreed. During the performance, the little girl couldn't take her eyes off Smiley. She felt drawn to him, and as he made his way through the audience, she reached out to touch him. Suddenly, she felt a cold, bony hand wrap around her wrist. She looked up and saw Smiley's face twisted into a grotesque smile. He leaned in close to her and whispered, "You're next." The little girl never spoke again. And to this day, people claim to see Smiley's face in their nightmares, grinning and waiting for his next victim. When Karen was a child, she was always fascinated by clowns. She loved going to the circus and watching them perform their tricks and antics. But as she grew older, she began to feel uneasy around them, especially after watching a horror movie that featured a scary clown. One night, Karen was walking home from work when she saw a clown standing on the corner of the street. She tried to ignore him and keep walking, but the clown began to follow her. She quickened her pace, but the clown kept getting closer and closer. Finally, Karen broke into a run, but she could hear the clown's laughter behind her. She felt a cold hand grip her shoulder, and she turned around to face the clown. But it wasn't just any clown, it was the same one from the horror movie she had watched years ago. The clown's face was twisted into a terrifying smile as he lunged at Karen. She screamed and ran away as fast as she could, but she could hear the clown's laughter echoing behind her. From that night on, Karen was terrified of clowns and never wanted to see one again.